Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Red Zone, brought to you by the Real Estate Center at Texas A&M University. I'm Haley Reeder, Communications Specialist. Today is Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. On this day in 1892, the town of Running Water in Hale County officially opened with a barbecue for area residents. An earlier settlement at the site was named Wadsworth until the post office, established in December 1890, was renamed Running Water to draw attention to the presence of flowing water. A rural school was also established that year. The Fort Worth and Denver Railway missed the community by 3 miles when the tracks were laid in 1928. The post office was moved to Edmondson Switch on the railroad in 1937, leaving Running Water largely abandoned. Now on to today's podcast. Before COVID-19, there was a lot of noise about iBuyers in the residential real estate industry. These market disruptors were projected to leave a major mark on the industry. But who and what are iBuyers, and did the coronavirus finish them off before they could blossom? Joining us today to talk more about this is Center Senior Data Analyst Joshua Roberson. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, what are iBuyers? What is the typical iBuyer business model?
Well, iBuyers are essentially they're instant home buyers. They make an offer to a homeowner, and if the homeowner accepts, then the home is typically purchased within a few days. So it's a really short turnaround time. The pitch is convenience. So instead of having to go through the mess of staging the home, being there, always kind of being on call to accept visitors, the process is shortened, and so. But there is a cost to it. Typically, the cost is more than going through an agent. I think last I checked, around 8 to 12% it can be, although that can vary. But for some people, that's an attractive option, especially now. I don't know if I'd want people going through my home during a pandemic, so maybe just the option of not being there is appealing. But anyway, it's a preference thing. But some of our listeners may be thinking, going back to my original definition, instant home buyer, that's not really a new thing, and they're right. Kind of the big difference now that, is, with kind of this iBuyer, wave is that there's at least 2 distinguishing features of iBuyers, and one is just heavy utilization of technology, not just on the consumer, on the user experience, but also in the back-end operations of selecting properties. Because you see, not every property is eligible for this instant buyer service. It's got to fit kind of their criteria. One of the misconceptions, I think, is, that unlike maybe some like home flippers that may come to mind for some people, it's not necessarily about getting the widest spread in what they bought it for and what they sold it for. Oftentimes, iBuyers are kind of more focused on how quickly can they turn around the home, because holding on to the property costs money, and so they've become very specialized, or at least tried to become very specialized in turning around the home quickly. The other distinguishing feature is they have a lot of capital, particularly some of the larger players, like OfferPad, Zillow, just a lot of money just poured into these companies. The business model is still a work in progress. Some of the top of mind iBuyers, such as Zillow, still are not. They're still reporting losses on a per property basis. So then you got to ask yourself, why all the buzz? And kind of circling back, there is a place for this product. There is a convenience factor that is attractive. And there is demand, but I think it's just a matter of just finding where this product fits in the entire real estate ecosystem. So,
how did iBuyers affect Texas real estate markets pre-COVID-19?
I'm not sure they did, because so iBuying has been around for a little while now. I think at least 2014. At least that's when you start kind of hearing things. That first started out in the Phoenix, Arizona area. That market in particular has a lot of affordable priced homes, fairly homogenous homes. I mean, properties are different, but these iBuyers kind of rely on markets that have enough transactions and enough similarity in homes, because they got to, again, they got to deploy their fancy models to figure out, turnaround time and what they can buy and sell it for. So gradually they expanded to Texas. And so Texas has actually kind of been the new frontier for some of these iBuyers. Opendoor has been active in Texas, I believe, since 2016, but their presence grew a lot more in 2019. It's pretty significant, the amount of activity that grew. And also some of the other larger iBuyer names, Redfin, OfferPad, and Zillow. You start seeing their presence in Texas in 2019. So beforehand, I mean, it was just kind of a growing market. Texas, again, was kind of the new frontier. So, and then 2020 came, and we all know what happened there. So,
how has the coronavirus pandemic disrupted iBuyer operations?
So if I had $1 for every time I've heard or read that COVID disrupted the disruptor, then I would be doing pretty well right now. Yeah. So the answer to your question is that COVID disrupted the disruptor, yeah. Which I mean, it's happened to everyone, but they kind of walked into it. So, but specifically operations, kind of the timeline, going back to March, things began slowing down. Into April, you started hearing about layoffs with some of the iBuyers. And some people kind of thought that maybe the whole thing was done before it really got started. But in May, nationally, I started reading that, iBuyer activity started coming back. In Texas, it didn't really start coming back till June, in select markets. And right now, we're still kind of waiting on data to see what the activity looks like. Anecdotally, I've read that they're not really buying as much right now. I think they're just trying to unload the properties that they had bought beforehand. So,
what's next for iBuyers in Texas?
So it's going to be the same thing that was before COVID. They still need to figure out how to make a profit. And of course, the virus certainly has not made that any easier. This year is certainly not going to be the best year. But specifically, in order to find a profit, they got to find how to position the instant buyer service. And because that's still kind of up in the air, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of other competition that's kind of putting their own take on the instant buyer process. So one of the bigger names that has entered the market is Keller Williams. They have their own take on the instant buyer process, but they're also a traditional brokerage. And their focus is having this as an option in addition to traditional brokerage services. Because remember, not everyone wants to pay the fee to sell the home. Some people that's really appealing. Other people not so much. They'll take their chances and just wait for the home to sell. It's my opinion that some of the homes that the iBuyers focus on are homes that already kind of tend to sell relatively quickly anyway, because I mean the target range is typically affordable homes in Texas. That's 200,000. You do see some in the 300,000s, but more so in the 200,000s. Activity, and I think most of the iBuyers, particularly Opendoor, they started in kind of the Fort Worth area, and there's a lot of affordable homes there. So, again, I think it's just more of a preference thing. I mean, for some homeowners, there may be some touch-ups that are needed, and they don't have the expertise or the patience to do it themselves. And so, again, it may just be more appealing for them. Or they may be in a tight job situation where they just need they need the predictability of selling this home so that they can move on to the next home. So, but anyway, there's other, players coming into the market. I guess, just kind of other headwinds that iBuyers will face. I mean, going back to their price range, they focus on kind of the affordable homes. And I mean, given the current market, if Texas, really everywhere, but I mean, focusing on Texas. If Texas already had an issue of affordable homes, a lot of markets, those affordable homes aren't coming back as listings right now for whatever reason. We're still trying to figure that out. I mean, we have an idea. I mean, of course, the general economic conditions, when job situations aren't very secure or you just don't know, then you're probably less likely to buy or sell. But the other factor is rates are really low. That can work one of two ways. It can attract you to buy a home, or if you really, really like your neighborhood already, and then you may consider to refinance if you can find a bank to refinance your property now. Mm-hmm. So anyway, for whatever reason, those homes, they're just not coming back, to the market right now. So that's kind of their wheelhouse, Mm-hmm. What are they going to buy right now? Yeah. So we're all kind of waiting to see when those properties come back, and I think once they do, you'll start seeing iBuyer activity pick up again. Yeah. And so it's just trying to figure out where to position this. So, but I think it's here to stay. I don't think it's going to be as ubiquitous as some people think. I don't think this is going to be the thing for everyone. But yeah, profitability is going to be what's next.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, you bet. Pleasure.
Thanks again, Josh. For more on this, keep an eye out for Josh's upcoming article about iBuyers. The article will be published on our website, as well as the October 2020 issue of TG Magazine. Until then, we've posted a link to other podcasts featuring Josh, as well as his latest research articles. To make sure you receive the next issue of TG Magazine, update your mailing address on the Texas Real Estate Commission website, www.trec.texas.gov. It's free for all licensees to change their contact information. TREC and the Real Estate Center suggest using your home address as your mailing address for the most reliable delivery of TG. You can find other real estate articles in our research library. It includes a wide variety of economic reports and real estate articles. Our latest topics include representative interest rates for Texas mortgagees, interest rate movement, housing affordability, and Austin-Waco Hill Country's land market, plus so much more. We've included a link to our research library on our podcast webpage. For more coronavirus-related information, check out the Center's weekly economic indicator. This economic tool can help forecast changes in the Texas economy resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. We've included a link to that publication down below. And don't forget to subscribe to email notifications so you always know when the indicator is updated. We also included a link to the Center's latest COVID-19 related news items. You can read those items in our News Talk Texas database, as well as Recon, our biweekly newsletter. Sign up for free at the link below. That's going to be it for today's podcast. If you want more from the Real Estate Center, head to our website. That's www.recenter.tamu.edu. There, you'll find the latest data, research articles, news, and more. To stay up to date on when articles are published on our website, follow the Real Estate Center on social media. You can find us with the handle @RECenterTX on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. For more podcasts like these, you can subscribe on iTunes or to our YouTube channel. All podcasts are also available for free on our website. Thanks for joining us today in the Real Estate Red Zone, brought to you by the Real Estate Center in College Station, Texas, where we've been helping Texans make the best real estate decisions since 1971. This is Haley Reeder, and I'll see you next time. And to our friends along the coast, stay safe. Bye!